Here.
Commissioner Hahn,
Here.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Here.
Commissioner Hyder,
Here.
Commissioner Campbell.
Here.
Okay. First order of business is the approval of the agenda. Anybody suggesting amendments or a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next order of business is the approval of the minutes of the September 13, 2021 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Any changes or additions or subtractions? Or a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn.
Do I abstain from this
You may.
since I was gone?
You
Yes.
may, if you'd
Yeah,
like.
I'll abstain.
Commissioner Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava.
Aye.
Okay. Tonight we have one public hearing and then other business. So I need to read the meeting procedures. The Planning and Zoning Commission holds public hearings as required by law and provides recommendations to City Council on matters relating to land use, planning, zoning, and the subdivision of land. Any person who has an interest in the subject matter of a hearing will have the opportunity to provide testimony and present evidence to the Commission during the public hearing. Speakers are required to conduct themselves in an orderly and respectful manner. Disruptive behavior, including applause, yelling, speaking out of turn, or other inappropriate behaviors, will not be tolerated. Additionally, the following applies to any person addressing the Commission. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless authorized by me. Speakers must speak at the podium unless previous arrangements have been made with me. Speakers must legibly print their name and address on the sign-in sheet at the podium prior to speaking. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address. Speakers should speak clearly and into the microphone. I will announce the subject of the hearing, followed by a report from staff. The chairperson, I, will then open the public hearing to the applicant, followed by those in favor of the application and those opposed to the application. I will close the public hearing at that time, and the Commission will discuss among ourselves the public may not address the Commission after the close of the public hearing unless requested by the chairperson. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall base their recommendation and/or decision on information and evidence presented during the public hearing. This decision, if required by the application, will be forwarded in writing to the City Council for further consideration. Let's move to the first public hearing. I call it now Ordinance or ORD 21-006. The Build's staff is proposing an amendment to Chapter 405, Article Roman numeral 5, Height and Area Requirements, Exceptions, and Modifications that will clarify the ordinance and alter a number of regulations therein. Karen, would you fill us in on this?
I'll actually take this one,
Chris.
Chairman Ellis. So tonight we have a consideration to approve amendments to Chapter 405, Article V, Height and Area Requirements, Exceptions, and Modifications. The City of Republic is requesting amendments to Chapter 405, Article 5, specifically to Sections 405.540 and 405.545 to provide clarity to existing regulations and update building height restrictions for multifamily structures. The purpose of Article 5 is to regulate parcels as they relate to the various zoning districts that the City of Republic has adopted. Section 405-540 mostly consists of a chart that displays these zoning districts and conveys how various aspects of parcels are treated for each. Examples of lot attributes included in the chart include but are not limited to setbacks for various yards on a lot, such as a side, front, back, the lot width, depth, and frontage requirements, and lot density. Accompanying the chart is section 405.545, which is a list of exceptions. Use of the chart necessitates bouncing back and forth between the two sections to understand the ordinance. This amendment reduces the list of exceptions by adding many of them into the chart itself when possible and removing those which are redundant or outdated altogether. The other significant change you'll find in this amendment is that it proposes a change in maximum building height. The amendment also removes the cap on maximum building height for residential districts. Previously, all residential zoning districts capped building height at 3 stories. Research into the topic has led staff to understand that the placement of the limit was originally related to concerns that the fire department would not be able to adequately serve buildings beyond 3 stories. Staff has concluded that these concerns are now mitigated by regulations within the adopted International Fire Code, the IFC. The IFC places requirements on the design and build of structures regarding fire safety. In this case, sprinkling is required for residential buildings above 11 meters or roughly 3 stories. Other requirements are included in the IFC that would go ahead and mitigate some of these concerns that we were previously concerned about at the time this chart was adopted. Staff recommends the approval of the referenced amendment.
Since this was a Republic initiated change, city-initiated change, is there anyone else that wishes to speak and be in favor of the change? Hearing no one, let's move to anyone who's opposed to the change. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak opposed to this proposal? No rush to the podium, so I would say we'll close this hearing. Okay, what do you all think?
On page 7. Oh, there we go. On page 7, there's a max density lots per acre that's in green. Has that changed, or is that something that was added to the?
The max density lots per acre is not something that was actually added. It's really just a formula taken from some of the other information in the chart already, such as the lot size, which is per zoning district. And so it's just dividing the lot size by, the acreage, or by an acre by the lot size.
So it's nothing really changed. It's just we did the math for them now.
Right, we did it.
Okay.
We get that question a lot, and one place that we did include that we had that was incredibly confusing in the old ordinance is for multifamily.
Yeah,
we get that a lot, and we didn't have it.
0.42 lots per acre would be that makes sense. Okay, no, thank you.
Are we anticipating like 4-story buildings soon? Or bigger?
We are making it possible for someone to build an apartment or other building residential that would be above 3 stories.
Okay.
That is something that we've heard in the development community. I would also draw your attention to one thing I left out, which is that one of our zoning districts was excluded from the original chart. You'll see that everything under C3 is in green, including C3 itself. That was, for whatever reason, had not been added. So that's just another designation of a general commercial zoning. It's the most intense commercial zoning that we have, and for whatever reason, it had been left off the chart previously. So that was really the main reason that we came at this, was to make sure that got added and that the height change was made. While we were in there, we went ahead and, combined a lot of things and simplified.
Somebody make a motion if no one else has any concerns or questions.
Motion to approve?
Is that what this needs to be? We're approving it, it doesn't go past us, does it?
It will go past you.
Or go to city council? Okay, so we're just approving it, we're not recommending it.
Recommending it for approval.
Okay, I was looking at the description, it doesn't say anything about recommending, but that's fine. So your motion would be to recommend approval to the city council? Good. Everybody understand the motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Call the roll.
Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Chairman Ellis?
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava?
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder?
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next item of business is other business. Oh, do you have something, Chris?
No, I'll be taking this one. I was
Okay,
just-
thank you. Sub D pre 21-003, possible vote to recommend the approval of an application for a preliminary plat for Emerald Valley Phase 2, a residential subdivision consisting of 145 lots on approximately 48 acres located in the 1300 block of North Main Street. Chris?
Thank you, Chairman Ellis. Bester Properties LLC has requested review and approval of a preliminary plat of Emerald Valley Phase 2, a subdivision of approximately 48 acres consisting of 145 residential zone, single-family, medium-density residential, R1M, streets, and infrastructure. Preliminary plats are reviewed for the conformance with the following review criteria to ensure the development in the proposed location. That it, one, will not endanger the public health or safety. 2, will not injure the value of adjoining property or abutting property. 3, will be in conformity with the comprehensive plan, transportation plan, zoning code, water system master plan, wastewater system facility plan, or other plans officially adopted by the city council. And that 4, it will be in harmony with the area in which it is located. Preliminary plats are reviewed by the city planner and the city engineer in conformance with the requirements of Chapter 410 of Republic's Municipal Code, the Comprehensive Plan, and all applicable city-adopted codes and regulations. The property subject to this preliminary plat is comprised of approximately 48 acres and is located at the 1300 block of North Main Street. The property is zoned single-family, medium-density residential, R1M. The reference preliminary plat contains 145 single-family, medium-density residential R1M lots with a minimum required lot size of 9,000 square feet and consists of streets, open space, utility easements, and detention areas. The preliminary plat of Emerald Valley Phase 2 has a density of 3 lots per acre. The preliminary plat proposes 2 new street connections. Topaz Boulevard and Citrine Street will both connect to Main Street. There are 2 future connection points created by this subdivision to serve future development. Topaz Boulevard, which terminates to the east of the property, and Sapphire Avenue, which will terminate to the north. These connections allow those adjacent parcels access to Emerald Valley as development progresses. New public streets will be dedicated to the city during the final platting process. Deficient right-of-way along North Main Street will be dedicated to the city during the final platting process as well. A traffic impact study was required of the applicant. The study that was required determined that the future intersection of Main Street and Topaz Boulevard will have a designated southbound left turn lane. The referenced parcel is not currently connected to municipal utilities, and development of the property will require connection to the city's water and sanitary sewer systems. Development will require an extension of the existing water main along the east side of Main Street, transitioning from a 10 to an 8-inch from Emerald Valley Phase 1 to the northern edge of the new subdivision. The looping of the water system is expected to create a connection with the 6-inch main on Northampton Avenue in Emerald Valley 1. Wastewater will gravity feed north from the east property line through an 8-inch main to the Evergreen Lift Station and then will be pumped to the wastewater treatment plant. Both the water and sewer system currently have the capacity to serve the potential development. The preliminary plat of Emerald Valley Phase 2 has been platted for the construction of 145 single-family lots, associated infrastructure including public streets, sidewalks, public water, and sanitary sewer mains, as well as stormwater detention. This subject parcel does contain a special flood hazard area, and development of the subject parcel will require compliance with the city's floodplain ordinance. The subject parcel also contains one identified sinkhole located between lots 194 and 195 along the south side of Sapphire Avenue. A sinkhole analysis was completed by the applicant and reviewed by the city. Development of the property requires compliance with section 410-700 sinkholes and karst features of the Republic Municipal Code, requiring a 30-foot setback from the sinkhole rim for all development. The preliminary plat for Emerald Valley Phase 2 meets the requirements of the referenced ordinance. The preliminary plat contains 2 stormwater detention areas between two stormwater detention areas designed to control the release of stormwater attributable from the development. The first is 2.93 acres on the south edge of the subdivision. The second is 0.97 acres in the northwest corner. The plat contains a conceptual layout of the detention area. The area will be designed to mitigate existing conditions to reduce the amount of post-development flows to less than pre-development flows. The stormwater detention area's outflow will flow into adjacent property to the south of the property. A stormwater report will be reviewed by the technical review team during infrastructure design review phase. The stormwater detention area and all open space common area will be maintained by a homeowners association. The design of the streets, sidewalks, water and sanitary sewer systems, and stormwater detention will be reviewed and permitted during the infrastructure permitting process. Staff considers the proposed preliminary plat in general conformity with the requirements for preliminary plats and is recommending approval of the application. One other thing I'd like to note is that we were asked to make sure that everyone was aware that there is a connection coming along Main on Emerald Valley 1 that is not going to be connecting directly to the sidewalk that is pictured here. That connection will be made either with the city's assistance or by the developer themselves. So we will make sure that there's no open area of where the sidewalk is not. We'll go ahead and make sure that those connect, however that works out.
The sidewalk is this small thing that goes down the floodplain.
So along Main Street,
Oh,
there's
I
a
see.
sidewalk coming.
Never mind,
Yep.
never mind. Thank you. What's this? Okay, that makes me have a question. I see the flood, what I assume is the floodplain between Phase 1 and Phase 2, and if I'm recalling correctly, we had a long discussion as to whether or not we needed a bridge in between the Phase 2 and Phase 1. I'm kidding. We've discussed this property several times, have we not?
I'm sure it's come up before.
Yeah. What is this that goes down through the middle of the floodplain?
That's the city's pipe. It's a sewer pipe, I believe.
Oh, okay. You said there's a dedicated left turn lane. Left turn to get onto Main or left turn
No,
to get
to come
off
off of Main and to get on, I think it's
Sapphire?
No, I think it's Citrine.
Okay.
So when you're southbound on Main, you would use that.
Lot of cars.
Why not both? I mean, is it just a formality, just one turn lane coming off of it to just?
We require a traffic study, and so it's actually based on the number of
Oh,
cars
okay.
and trips that will be added there, what road improvements are needed. So the developer for a subdivision, certainly of this size, in most every case, we require a traffic impact study, and that's at their cost, but what we see is sometimes improvements need to be made whenever there's enough houses being added.
Well, in this case, along Main Street, you have 6, 7, 8 lots.
Those lots will not access Main Street itself.
I'm not going there. If you're making improvements to the street, Main Street, or you're requiring that, you have 8 lots along there. Once those sell and are built out, you're not gonna be able to condemn or anything else without a lot of problems. Not saying that that's what the city wants to do or anything else. I'm just exploring what you said about,
You're suggesting if in the future, there was a desire to widen Main Street,
Yeah.
it would be incredibly difficult at that point.
it's gonna be hard to do anyway.
That's
but-
true.
But, this is where you start that.
On the west side, that's all vacant, correct? Currently? The west side of Main Street.
We'll actually be requiring them to bring up dedication to what we would require as a maximum for Main Street for a primary arterial. So we'll get what we need, as far as what we would eventually have built it out to anyways. But, you know, whether or not Main Street actually gets widened, we'll have the dedicated right of way.
The school is on the other side of phase 1.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it's below this is actually north of the one we did last month, if you remember.
Maybe that's
Ashford
what I'm
Place.
thinking about.
The speed limit change is currently south of here as well. Is that going to be changing with a development like this to push the 30-mile-an-hour out further? Or is that something that has not been considered for this development?
I don't know.
That's a very good question, Brian. This particular portion of Main Street is owned and maintained in part by the City of Republic, Greene County, and MoDOT further north. So this particular section adjacent to Emerald Valley 2 is actually Greene County's right-of-way, so it'll be completely up to them.
Okay. And then looking at the water pipe transitioning from a 10-inch to an 8-inch, given that it was built out as a 10, was there a reason why it was put in as a 10 through phase 1 and then transitioning to an 8-inch through this section for any reason? Or what would the consideration be for why it changed between the two phases?
At this point, that is our best guess as far as the size of the pipes that'll be required for phase 2. The engineer will actually be doing a hydraulic analysis to determine the flow for pipe sizing and to make sure that there's going to be enough pressure within phase 2 to meet the 1,500 gallons per minute requirement for residential construction. So we will know more soon once we get the actual infrastructure plans for the subdivision.
Okay.
Well, we do try and provide as much information as we have about what infrastructure will be coming in. A lot of that infrastructure actually gets reviewed at a later phase as far as exactly what it is. So, you wouldn't be approving a pipe size in this case, you know. We do try and provide that there just so we get an idea of what's going on. But as far as what is actually included on the plat, that would be all that would be, you know, approved.
It was just curiosity.
Oh, sure.
Where does the 30-mile-per-hour speed start? At the city limits on Main? Or it's not at the county line, which would be the county.
No, the county line is actually a little bit further north, except this is an area of the city where you have the county on the western portion of the right-of-way and city on the eastern portion. So it is an aspect, or it's an area of road that's controlled and maintained by Greene County. Speed limits are set by Greene County, but the actual city limits are on the north property of this. far as the particular location of that speed change, we would have to look into that. My best guess would be it's somewhere probably where C-Tree Street will be coming.
Yeah. The speed limit's fine, whatever you wanna make it. That doesn't bother me. I was just trying to figure out where the property was for sure. I now understand that I was thinking it was further to the south than it is. It's further to the north, and it's on the north side of the little hill where the 30-mile-per-hour limit is on the top of it. Okay. That'll help some because there are other roads to take besides Main Street.
The one subdivision that we approved that was south of here, there was like were they duplexes behind the school?
The
Right.
R1Z Ashford
Yeah.
Place,
Were-
yes.
Did they require a left-hand turn lane also, or did they already have one? I can't.
There was no traffic study required from that one. That was essentially a preliminary plat that had expired and came back. And
Okay.
because we had originally with the people we were working with not required a traffic impact study, we did that in that case because it was an old project.
Okay. And then on things like this that require a southbound turn lane or left turn lane, does developer pay for that or does Republic pay for that?
That's at the cost of the developer.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, somebody make a motion.
Motion to approve sub D dash PRE 21-003, possible vote to recommend approval of an application for preliminary plat for Emerald Valley Phase 2 on the 1300 block of North Main Street.
All right, there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Chairman Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Move to citizen participation. Any citizens here that wish to speak? I have a pick of two, which we are very happy everyone, both of you are here. If you want to come and address the commission on any matter that we have not discussed already, please feel free to move toward the podium and talk to us. No takers? No takers? Maybe next time. Okay. Community Development Department update?
We have no update on either the Builds Department or the Comprehensive Plan this evening.
Okay, so I
So-
got both of them with one fell swoop. All
So,
right.
so there's nothing about a Whataburger or anything like that that you guys want to talk about?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
What are you kind of hoping it's moving in over there next
Man,
day for you?
they got all sorts of.
Or a
You hear all
Culver's.
these little things.
I-
Little
I-
birdies. I'm like, Whataburger's not even around here, and they're like, no, we're getting one because we got Amazon.
I will remind the commission that the project tracker map on the city's website at republicmo.com does have all up-to-date, real-time information regarding the major development projects that have been submitted to the city. So currently, we do not have a Whataburger project submitted to the city.
Some of those have.
Ooh, that was subtle.
Some of those have the names of the people that are making the building, and not actually the business name itself. Because I looked at
Sometimes-
that.
Yes, sometimes that is correct.
To
A
keep
lot
it
of
hidden.
A lot of times it is under the contractor or the architect if they are building a spec building. So many times that is the instance. Yes.
Good to know. We don't know. That's what we know. Anything else from anybody? How about a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
There we go. Here a second.
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Andrews,
Aye.
Commissioner Hahn,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder,
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
and Chairman